In 1935, Tito was beginning to understand that the soft, lush tropical melodies of Puerto Rico were not what he wanted to play. He often practiced danzas and bombas on the piano, even tried some melodies on his sax. There was no stirring. It was tropical and exotic, but it did not move me. Standing in the church with Joe Loco and listening to the music of Noro Morales probably inspired him to somehow bring the old and the new together, but just how remained a task that had to be accomplished. There was a lot happening in the mid to late 1930s. Joe Loco was very much a dancer, but with a strong leaning to the American jazz genre. Tito was slowly steering toward his Latin roots, but while the music of Noro Morales was plush, exotic, and tropical, he was not interested in the bombas, plenas, and danzas his mother loved so much. It was the percussion. You have to remember that as a youngster, he was already jamming with the Cubans and other percussionists that lived in the neighborhood. Noro's brother Humberto was so good. I used to see him. He was one of Noro Morales' percussion men. I played with Noro one night at the El Morocco, I think in 1937. It was nice. We were all dressed. They played society Latin, some rumbas, soft. It was not for me. In the neighborhood, it was a little more pungent, African.
Today, the marketing term is salsa, but in the 50s, they called it mambo. And it's definitely Afro-Cuban roots.
Tito says the only salsa that I know comes out of a bottle, because the music I'm playing is the music I've played since I started playing this music, and it's Cuban music. Naturally, when you play Cuban music and you're outside of Cuba, and of course Tito Puente is of Puerto Rican parents and born in New York, the music takes on other characteristics, but the struggle is to keep it as...
Tito enjoyed the music, but at this time in his young life his interests in music gravitated to the swing bands. Noro Morales was not a fan of the swinging jazz movement. He preferred to play the tempered music of his homeland, mixed with a few guarachas, some ballads, and even soft American music with a rumba beat. He was laid back and liked the easygoing sounds of Puerto Rico, like the danza, bomba, and plena. Tito often reflected that this was a time of emotional conflict for him. The Benny Goodman Orchestra was much on his mind. Looking back at this time, I don't think any of us, people my age, the teenagers like me and Joe, understood what was happening. We were Puerto Ricans, with distinct cultural traditions. Our parents were dealing with incredible changes. Most of them did not speak English. It was difficult. Also, Noro was there. He played smooth and soothing music. But we liked Benny Goodman, jazz.
But there was another Tito too. Tito Puente was born in El Barrio, just 3 years after his parents arrived from Puerto Rico. Always interested in music, as a teenager he turned away from that of his parents. For Puente, nothing beats swing. At 14, he saw drummer Gene Krupa at the Paramount Theater. I knew right there what I wanted. To be Gene Krupa, he later said. But Puente found immediate work in